Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Happy New Year. Today I want to talk to you about something that really drives me crazy. It's the French mistakes Americans always make, and I've seen it everywhere written and I've heard it everywhere, and I have to do a video about it. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Mary, I'm French, and I speak broken English, so I'm not here to judge or criticize, okay? I've been a lot to States and I love this country, and there are just a couple of things, that I'm like, well, might be worth mentioning so people can be just more correct about the French they use on a daily basis. So the first one is a daily thing that I've been hearing on shows, on TV, at restaurants especially. It's bon appétit. You guys, I've never heard any Americans say bon appétit. It's always bon appétit. And I think you might know now that there's so many words in French that we don't, that letter at the end, we don't pronounce it. We don't use it. It's just here for the beauty of the word. You know what I mean? So just drop the T at the end and you'll sound much more French. Yeah, I think I've heard this expression bon appétit to know how to pronounce it, and it's actually really good because it ends with T, which doesn't have the T at the end of the T. You know what I mean? So yeah, just pronounce it the way you want, but if you want to sound more French and if you want to be correct, it's actually bon appétit. Oh my god, this one is probably the one that annoys me, and I'm gonna just say it, annoys me the most. I am saying it everywhere and I really hate it as a French, so I just want to, make things right now. We got many pastries in France and viennoiserie, and they're all very good. You guys know croissant, and you guys also know and have pain au chocolat. The problem is, and I've seen it in maybe just one bakery, and I think that was in Minnesota or something, probably Minnesota, that got it right and that wrote pain au chocolat. But everywhere it's written chocolate croissant. This is not a chocolate croissant, this is a pain au chocolat. This is a croissant, this is a pain au chocolat. This is a chocolate croissant. Very different, not even the same shape. I guess as croissant was the most popular first, it was, brought everywhere, everybody knows about it. So then when they brought pain au chocolat, they were like, wow, this is just too hard to say or pronounce for Americans, so we're just gonna take croissant and add chocolate because it's similar, whatever. Wrong, so wrong. Oh my gosh, no, please, no. But then again, when and I've done that before, when I, go to a bakery or whatever, and I ask for a croissant, they're like, what? So I even have to do it, like fake the American accent, a croissant, please. And it's like, but I understand, the R is pronounced differently, and I guess it's just people are too used to say it the American way, which is absolutely fine, gotta be understood, right? Yeah, this is a pain au chocolat. So I'm sure it's never gonna change. Some bakeries, I'm sure they will change it at some point. I've seen it once, so there's hope. But just know in your mind that this is a pain au chocolat and this is not a chocolate croissant. Okay, this is a chocolate croissant. And yeah, whenever I come back from the States, and I go to a bakery, I really take a second to watch and see the right words for the right thing, and it's like, everything is back to normal. I'm making a big deal out of it. Pain au chocolat is such a staple in France that, everybody knows. It's probably one of the most in thing around. But when it's been like this your whole life and you go to another country and it's exactly the same thing, but it's using another word that means something else and adding, and you're like, this is wrong from my French mind. And so I'm talking about Americans because this is where I go the most, the past couple of years is what I've been the most. So maybe other people, and I'm sure other people in other countries might made those kind of mistakes, but I'm just talking with my own experiences here. So anyway, another one, I'm glad you're using this word, but I don't understand where this mistake in pronunciation came from, because as much as you don't have, so it's déjà vu. And you guys say déjà vu, which vu means you, and it's a completely different word. Vu is already seen, like déjà vu is, I've seen that before. Vous is you. It's the respectful way of talking to someone, to being the casual way, more personal way. So it is a different word that you guys are saying when you say déjà vu. Doesn't mean anything much unless it's in a sentence, and that would make more sense. And so vu, as much as you don't have the U sound in English, you do have it in between, like in other sounds, like you say EU. And so you don't like you can use this word as an example, and so you just drop the last sound of it, you know, déjà vu, like view. Oh, like view too. Well, there's the U that could work, or view, déjà vu, which sounds better than déjà vu. I don't know. I guess as a non-French speaker, vu and vous are probably similar. But yeah, it's something I really wonder where this vous came from. Something and I think it's because you have a big, Biba la Francia. I've seen a lot of, especially written, it's more like I've seen it written everywhere than heard it. It's Biba la France. I think this, you guys get it wrong because of all the Spanish language you have around you, which I'm jealous about, by the way. And Viva la Francia, that's Spanish. Viva is Spanish. In French, you drop the A and you put an E instead. Vive. Vive la France. So many times, I don't even think, to be honest, I've ever seen it written correctly. Vive la France. It's always Viva la France. And I'm like, yeah, you know, I mean, it sounds great, but it's not French, it's Spanish. It's close to, but when you pronounce it, it's actually very different, Biba, and in French it's vive. The V is pronounced differently. But yeah, it's something I'm like, so how did this game, like how, I don't know. A bit of Spanish, a bit of French. I mean, it's, you know, I love cultural medley and also it's amazing, but it's not French. So many people think, oh yeah, you know, I know a sentence in French. And like, yeah, no, that the first part is actually in Spanish. I don't know where that comes from, but each time I see it, it makes me smile. I'm like, it's interesting. So lastly, this is a word it got me confused so many times at restaurant. So, you know, when you go to a restaurant, you have the menu, and usually it's called like you have appetizers, and then entrée, and then, I don't know, main dish, main course, and then dessert, whatever, and drinks. And so I've been so confused so many times because entrée is what we would call appetizers, and yet again, appetizers is probably more like apéritif. But in some menus, some stuff in the category appetizer would be considered as an entrée here in France. But for you guys, entrée is the main thing, it's the main course. But in some menu you have entrée and then the main course, but it's kind of like, you know, very similar in type of dish. And I'm always confused about it because this word is not used with the same definition as us, but it's always written with the French way, you know, with an accent and an E. Sometimes it was, you know, had a bit of mistake, but I mean, it's fine. And so I really wonder when this word was first imported in the States and used, or in the English language in general, and then started being used for something completely different. And now it's everywhere. And even if I know it, it's always taking me a second to be like, oh yeah, no, this is not the appetizer, this is the main course. And you know, because it's the States, sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, size are just so much. Just for an entree, they want me to eat a whole lamb or whatever, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, this is actually the main course. You know, I would not even be with the American size, you know, sizes of dish and meals, I would not even be surprised if an entrée I'm talking with an accent. Une entrée would be with that. Would be that kind of thing for you guys. But it's not. So yeah, this is something I don't know where that comes from. So we definitely use it differently. So if you come to France or you go to a French-speaking country in or island and they have this, you order it and you think it looks very small. This is because it's supposed to be an appetizer for us and not a main course. So when I was thinking about making this video, it was actually, I was making a list. I've been making a list, a lot of lists of a lot of stuff I've been noticing in the States or during my travels in general. And there was this list starting to build up and I was like, you know what, I should make a video about it. So far I haven't really think about it more, but I'm sure there are other, similar words used not in the same way or written or pronounced differently. And yet again, I was not criticizing. I was definitely criticizing for the chocolate croissant. You should stop with that. Like I said, I really love difference in cultures and all that. And it's always interesting to see when a culture is taking a bit of another culture and making it its own. And it's interesting to see how it evolves and all that. I mean, like I said, in the French book, and they have so much. They did so many interviews with French Cajuns that came to North Africa, France, and around for the World War, and it's amazing how much they went from being la risée and called really bad names to being called Frenchie and being almost the most efficient and necessary people they needed in the war to be understood and to do just so much around the battles and all that, because when you have such a big buried language between French and English and it's just so different and you can't understand each other during a war, it's very it's pretty bad, and I mean, it's amazing. This book is amazing. Thank you, Danny. Danny from Louisiana gave it to me. And so they were talking about how, so the Cajuns were like, so we could understand each other, and we even had some patois that they used to have, or that they talked in some, countryside region, and we had the same, and it's very interesting to read. And so sometimes, it really evolves differently, the language, and some other times it's like, it stays the same, even like 400 years later, and it's fascinating. It's fascinating. So that was just my little touch to this, just highlighting those weird things that I've been hearing, and just it's interesting in general. So if you have similar things in other language, I know I have a couple of you guys watching me from different countries, but also I know some of you are Americans, but with a different cultural background, so you must speak another language. And so if you have this kind of how we call it, like medley of languages, there's a word for that when it's like, I think it's the same in English and French, actually. I'm not gonna find it. So yeah, if you have those kind of examples, please write them in the comments and tell me what you thought about the ones that I highlighted. And please, from now on, try to say pain au chocolat. Okay, I'm stopping with that. This is bad. I don't want people to think I'm mad. Well, that's it for the video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next Saturday. Bye.